The anger and the idea that you are in a completely new environment, as someone who went through 9/11 in New York, which is frankly only a fraction of what Israel is presently experiencing, I completely understand that. At the same time, I have noted that Israel has announced a siege against Gaza as a whole that will include all basic resources, gas, food, and the rest. And that doesn't just focus on Hamas, that of course focuses on all of the Palestinians that are living there. Clearly that's the former, everyone in the West is going to support Israel. The latter is a very different story. How do you respond to that?
We, as you said, are in a reality today that is, again, taking Israel's size into account, 12 times worse, right? Imagine 12 9/11s on a single day and the devastating effect that would have on an entire society. And that's what Israel is encountering right now in a very small country of under 10 million people. Um, and so I think the sense of anguish is very real. The sense of national mourning, the sense of shock and trauma is something that I think hasn't even really been internalized by many people. Can't say that I fully internalized it, even though I've been to funerals and I've seen the photos and I know what carnage has taken place. In terms of how the government responds and what steps are taken vis-a-vis the people in Gaza, I know that the Prime Minister has called on those people who live in areas that are going to be affected to vacate, to go to UN protected areas. Admittedly, there aren't many of those, and obviously Gaza is a very small territory that is very densely populated. I'm not sure how to say this. Obviously, the residents of Gaza are not all responsible for the actions of Hamas. I think that goes without saying, and it would be absolutely tragic if the human toll on the Palestinian side kept mounting as a result of Hamas's murderous actions. But at the end of the day, Israel needs to do what it must to keep its own people safe. That is its number one priority. It has to be. It's a sovereign state. That is, if it has any reason to be, if it has any raison d'etre, that is it, to keep its own civilians safe. And so if that comes at the cost of bringing down Hamas's leadership and targeting Hamas's military infrastructure, which is intentionally placed in civilian areas, if that is what will afford Israel's people the security that they so deeply need, especially at this moment in time, I don't think there are many Israelis who are going to oppose that.
Yeah, I mean, what's the phrase? When you're fighting a monster, don't become a monster. I mean, clearly it is in Hamas's interests for Israel to be seen, certainly in the region and potentially more broadly, as extreme, as murderous as possible. So Hamas is not just holding 150 hostages, they're also, to a degree, holding their population hostage. And they want Israel to take steps that will destroy civilians, right? I mean, they
No, for
want
sure.
Israel to be seen. So, I mean, the question is, if you're Israel, knowing that you are responsible for the security of your people, but also knowing that you are, in a sense, playing into a trap of Hamas's making, how do you think about that?
I think if I'm the Prime Minister of Israel and I saw the images that I saw about half an hour ago of the small bodies of children charred to essentially to ash by these terrorists, these savages who engaged in this massacre on Saturday, I think my priority would be to keep my people safe, and to ensure that nothing like this could ever happen again. And so certainly Israel will not carpet bomb Gaza, although it certainly has that capacity. It won't nuke Gaza, although there are those who say it has that capacity as well. That is not the way Israel operates. Israel will engage in surgical strikes in order to target Hamas infrastructure, Hamas command and control posts, perhaps Hamas leadership. But as you say, Hamas has embedded itself in the civilian population with the intent of drawing as many civilian casualties as possible when this happens. And that would be a terrible, terrible outcome of Hamas's double war crime of murdering Israeli civilians while endangering their own.